In a move that has sparked both hope and controversy, Belarus has released dozens of political prisoners in a high-stakes deal with the United States, marking a rare moment of diplomatic thaw between the authoritarian regime and the West. But here's where it gets complicated. While 52 prisoners, including trade union leaders, journalists, and activists, have been freed, over 1,000 others remain behind bars. Is this a genuine step toward reform, or a calculated gesture to ease international pressure? The release comes as part of an agreement between Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko and former U.S. President Donald Trump, in which the U.S. has agreed to lift some sanctions on Belarus's national airline, Belavia. This allows the airline to purchase much-needed parts, a lifeline for its operations. But here's where it gets controversial. The timing of this deal coincides with joint military exercises between Belarus and Russia, and just days after Poland accused Russia of an unprecedented drone incursion into its airspace. Poland has since closed its borders with Belarus, and Latvia has restricted its airspace, escalating tensions in the region. Russia's foreign ministry slammed Poland's actions as confrontational, while EU foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas warned that Russian President Vladimir Putin is undermining Western efforts to hold him accountable. Meanwhile, Lukashenko, who has ruled Belarus with an iron fist since 1994, framed the prisoner release as a humanitarian gesture during a meeting with Trump's special envoy, John Coale, in Minsk. The two also discussed reopening the U.S. embassy in Belarus, which was shuttered in 2022 after Putin used Belarusian territory to launch his invasion of Ukraine. And this is the part most people miss. Belarus is desperate to rebuild economic ties with the West after facing crippling sanctions over its ties to Russia's war in Ukraine. The release of the 52 prisoners follows the freeing of 314 others since July 2023, according to Human Rights Watch, as Lukashenko seeks to soften his regime's image. Among those recently pardoned was Sergei Tikhanovsky, husband of exiled opposition leader Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, who was released during a U.S. envoy's visit in June. However, not all releases have been cause for celebration. Many prisoners, like former journalist Larissa Shirakova, were forced into exile rather than allowed to return home. Veteran dissident Mykola Statkevich, a 2010 presidential candidate, refused to leave Belarus, choosing instead to sit in no man's land at the border. Does this raise questions about the true nature of their freedom? Sourced, a particularly notable case is that of Julia Fenner, a UK-Belarus dual citizen and wife of a British diplomat, who was among the 52 freed. Fenner was detained last year while entering Belarus and sentenced to a lengthy prison term just last week. Her release has prompted the BBC to seek confirmation from the UK Foreign Office. As the dust settles on this deal, it's impossible not to ask, is this a genuine step toward democracy, or a strategic maneuver by Lukashenko to buy time and ease sanctions? While Trump has touted the agreement as a diplomatic victory, critics argue it may legitimize a regime notorious for human rights abuses. What do you think? Is this a step in the right direction, or a dangerous compromise? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments.